Good morning and welcome back, Rocket Learners, to day 3 of our English. We're going to be carrying on today with our 500-word story. We're going to commence writing it out in the first draft, but already you should have created your character, you've created your title, you've picked your genre, you've plotted out your story in the story mountain. You have created dilemmas and problems for your main character. You may have created one or two more characters, some protagonists, some evil characters maybe. So that's all very exciting. And I've got to say, I can't wait to read your work for those of you that do decide to submit it into the 500-word competition. Now, today, I'm going to be helping you with a few more top tips to get your story started. So I'm going to be launching into that in a moment. But first, it's time for a joke. So, what is green, covered in tinsel, and goes ribbit, ribbit, ribbit? Do you know? A mistletoe. Mistletoe! How good is that? It's actually one of the better ones. Do you like that one? I really like that. Did you not like that? What? You didn't like that? Oh, can't believe it. Anyhow, let's get cracking. Let's do some work. So I'm going to start by sharing 3 great ways to begin a story. And the first way is to concentrate on the setting. So for example, being stuck up a chimney on Christmas Eve was not what Santa expected. He probably shouldn't have eaten that last mince pie, or the 500 mince pies before them, probably. So an unexpected setting is definitely a great way to hook your readers. Now, the second thing that you might want to focus on is a description. Okay, so for example, the neon pink roller skates were very fetching and fashionable. However, the fact that they were glued to Santa's feet and he was hurtling down a steep hill that was also a busy main street was clearly a problem, as was the truck that was heading towards Santa. So again, focusing on a small element of the story, so in this case the roller skates, and then moving backwards, panning your camera backwards to take in the big picture, can be a really great way of starting a story. And unusual dialogue is also a really good way of hooking your readers in the first instance. So, for example, "Bah, humbug," yelled Santa. "Ah, whatever is the matter?" sighed Rudolph. "I can't bear Christmas," spat Santa. So again, having a conversation that is very unexpected can really capture your reader's attention. I mean, you wouldn't be expecting Santa to be saying these kind of things. And what you'll also notice is that Santa did some yelling, and Rudolph did some sighing, and Santa did some spitting, but there wasn't really any saying. So I've changed the word "said" to for equivalents that make the writing more interesting, so you can absolutely imagine the scene that is unfolding. Now, what I would also recommend when you're writing out your story as well is, as you're writing it, it's always a good plan to read out what you've written, because one, that's always surprising, because quite often you'll be writing your story and quite often what you have written will not be what you think you've written. And actually, it's only when you read it out to yourself that actually the story sounds like it will when somebody else reads it. So can be a really good strategy to actually read out paragraphs as you've written them, and then if they don't sound quite right when you read them out, then you can very quickly edit as you go along, and that will save you quite a bit of time, as well as making your story quite entertaining to read. So that is definitely a top tip. Read out your story as you're writing it. Another top tip as well is kind of related to the similes and metaphors that we talked about yesterday, and that is when you're describing stuff. So, for example, if you are describing the moon, the shimmering moon that was casting some light on the setting, actually, rather than doing that, it can be quite, you can make your writing more interesting if you kind of flip it and do that in a slightly different way. So if you talk about the glimmering moon or light, but it could be seen through a mirror. So Mrs. Santa Claus looked at the mirror and she spied the shimmering moonlight. through its reflection. Or if Santa caught a glimpse of the moonlight speckled on a piece of glass lying on the floor, then again, you're kind of doing the same. You are describing something, but you're actually describing it in a slightly offbeat way that's will again capture your reader's attention and will make your story that much more interesting. So that is definitely another top tip as well. So I've given you 5 things this morning to help you write your story. I'm not going to confuse you with any more. I'm just going to let you get cracking. If you're confident enough, I would definitely recommend showing your writing to a grown-up as you're progressing, because again, they'll be able to give you some great feedback, I'm sure, and they'll give you some really good top tips for your writing. So do that. So do enjoy the writing this morning. Do spend at least 20 or 30 minutes developing your story and articulating your vision for the story from your story mountain. So committing it all to paper and expanding on all your ideas. So do spend at least 20 or 30 minutes doing that. If you want to spend longer and you are really into this and you're getting really excited by what you're writing, then yeah, absolutely, just crack on. You spend as long as you want to make it to make your story as good as it can be if you are enjoying it. So that's good. And don't forget about Mr. Garner this afternoon as well. Even if you are enjoying your story, do tune in for Mr. Garner's afternoon antics. I know he'll be delighted to see you, and I know that you'll come across some really interesting and exciting things to explore further from that broadcast. So have a good day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. You take care. Bye-bye.